Hello coders, in this video we are going to continue our discussion regarding microservice authorization and authentication. In the last few videos we are discussing regarding this microservice creation, microservice authentication, microservice authorization with the help of cookie, with the help of JWT. Now the time is to communicate between the microservices, and that to be, in this video we are going to discuss authenticated microservice communication. Means we got the JWT in last video, which I will put in the description box. If you have not gone through it, please go through it. Suppose you take it the first microservice which generates the JWT, JSON Web Token, is the first microservice. This one. If this one microservice 1 is the microservice which contains few endpoints, one is going to authenticate the user, another is going to provide some response, and maybe we may have any number of endpoints for providing response. But before providing the response, the request need to have the JWT or JSON Web Token for authenticated access to the endpoints, or else what will happen? Anybody across the world will be able to access our microservice endpoints without having any authentication. So first of all, we will authenticate the user, or we will go for creating a microservice, a new microservice to use the first microservice which is generating the JWT. In the previous video, let me go for a quick flashback. If you look at the STS, I have gone for this Spring Boot JWT project which is generating our JWT. So this is running in the port number, let me see, it is running in 8086 is the port number. It has a controller that generates two endpoints. If you look at the controller generates two endpoints. One is authenticate, this one is authenticate, and second one is hello. Authenticate is the endpoint which gives the JWT after validating the user or after authorization of the user. Then hello endpoint can be accessed by the user by supplying the JWT. We have seen that output, or after running this project, this is the Spring Boot project. After running the project, we have tested it with the help of a Postman client. So if you remember, this is what I have gone for, using the URL as localhost colon 8086/authenticate. This is the first endpoint. When we send it, then it gives this JSON Web Token. We need to copy this and give it to the second endpoint which is hello. So again, localhost colon 8086/hello. Then when we send it with the bearer as the prefix, we have to put this JWT as the value. Then when we send it again, we should get the output as hello JWT. But this type of application we don't want. What we want, we need this type of application, means a microservice which will provide the JWT to the first microservice and receive the JWT, again send the request, again receive the response. This is the hello client which is we saw over here in the Postman we got hello JWT, but our user is not going to use the Postman for accessing our web service, isn't it? So it sounds funny when we say our user to access the web service or microservice. User doesn't know what is a web service, what is microservice, all this thing. User know a application name, user go for accessing the URL, then what happens in the back end, that is our responsibility. So this hello JWT will be available only after the authentication of this web microservice by the first microservice. So how we can go for creating this microservice, we are going to discuss in this video. That is what creating client of our microservice. That's what I am talking about in this presentation. In this presentation I am talking about regarding the first microservice, microservice 1, which is already created, and now in this video we are going to create the second microservice which will authenticate itself from the first microservice by receiving the JWT with the help of response. Then first time onwards, after the authentication, first time onwards, whenever the user will provide the request will carry the JWT which is available in the microservice 2 after the authentication. Then this will carry on for the rest of the URI whichever we may have in our microservice 1 or maybe microservice 2. So how this is going to happen, how the consumer microservice will consume the JWT. First of all, how come it will receive the JWT, that we have to think about. We need to provide the username and password. As you remember, the username and password we have created in our demo application as a static and as well as plain text format username and password. That username and password is going to be provided with the help of HTTP entity, and that is going to be enclosed inside the REST template, and the REST template will be sent to the first microservice with the help of exchange method of REST template. Then the exchange method will receive or return the response entity. So first the exchange will send the request and receive the response with JWT which is going to be available in the response entity class, and once the response entity is available, then we can go on asking the response from other URI of the provider microservice. This is what is the consumer microservice. The provider or producer microservice is going to provide that's output or response whichever this first microservice this microservice wants to use. So once this authentication happens, then rest of the URI can go on providing this JWT with the help of REST template, and this REST template is going to contain this HTTP header, and there will be authorization variable, and value is going to be the JWT which is available already from the first authenticator or first URI. So let us go for this example, have a quick look at the example which I have already built for saving the time. So let us go for a quick look at the client example. This client example is very simple. First of all, this client example is going to give us web output. So that's why in the application.properties I have mentioned these two lines basically for mentioning regarding the output format as going to be JSP, and it is going to run in port number 8091, because already we have one application running as the server or maybe as the producer microservice, and that will be running in the port number 8086, and this application is going to run in 8091. So when we run both applications should have or must have different port. So first we look at the JSP, or first we have to create the JSP. When we go for creating a microservice or a Spring Boot application, automatically the web app folder is going to be there. Inside it we have to create the web-inf, then inside it JSP, then index.jsp. Index.jsp doesn't have anything special, only a HTML form is there which is going to provide the user ID and password to a action or to a controller. That controller is having the URI as login. This is going to receive username and password. So when we run this index.jsp, we will find out two input fields, one is for user ID and another is for password. When we submit it, it will go to the login controller. Let us have a look at the login controller, what it contains. So here is the JWT client controller I have created. This is the second one. So before going ahead, I just want to tell you, I have already created a web page for this project. This one is the web page which I will share in the description box. Everything has been mentioned over here, even if the entire source code is going to be available. Whatever I am describing right now, this description may not be there, but the source code is there. Have a look at this source code if you want to download it, if you want to use it, if you want to enhance it, all this thing you can do. Let us go back to our code. So here, this is what is the controller. This controller, let me move myself. This controller is nothing, it is having a login controller or a login URI. It is a REST controller in fact. This login controller which you saw, the form is getting submitted to it. It has two arguments as username and password as the request param. This request param arguments are going to be enclosed inside multi-value map as the username and password. This multi-value map is going to be enclosed inside HTTP entity, as I told you in the presentation. This HTTP entity is named as request, this object. The request object is going to be provided to the server with the help of REST template. This REST template is a class present in the Spring framework. This REST template exchange method has been used. We are going to use this URL, the URL as we used in the Postman localhost 8086 authenticate. The same URL is being provided over here, and this is what is the post method we are sending it, and the request which contains the HTTP entity with the username and password, and it is going to receive the response as the string. The string is going to be available as authentication response. This authentication response is nothing but the response entity. So response entity is going to be used in the hello client. The hello client is a second URL or second URI which we have used. This is what it's going to be compared if the response, the authentication response is going to be available, going to be compared with is it null or not. If it is null or not, and as well as the status is okay, that means token is available. Now we are going to find out what is the value of the token. The bearer prefix is going to be discarded. We will find out the body of that token. Now the token is going to be available. We are having the URL, second URL. Now the microservice which has the second URL as hello, that we are now going to call. This is what hello is the second URL, and as well as we are going to have this authorization variable and token as the value. So once this HTTP header is ready, then we can send the HTTP header with the REST template again. This is what the HTTP header we have enclosed inside HTTP entity. So HTTP entity is the object which is having named as JWT entity, and it is again going to receive the string. As you saw in the Postman, it doesn't receive anything special, only a piece of text, hello JWT. So we don't have any plan other than the string. If you are receiving any object or a list or something like it, then we can specify the class name over here. If you are receiving any JSON or any kind of list or objects, we are receiving string, so that's why I have created the response entity which is receiving the string. Then once this hello response is available, once this response is available, we are going to compare it with OK. If the status is OK, if it is 200, means OK status is going to have the value as 200. If it is 200, then we are going to find out the data available in the response body, and that data is going to return back. Okay. If this hello client will be accessed directly, then it is going to return please login. Means first the user needs to log in, get the JWT, authenticate with the help of hello client, then we can go for finding the response from the first microservice. So let us see how we are accessing it. I have already run that application in 8091 port number. So here first of all I have to go for using login. So 8091 is going to be accessed directly because we have index.jsp, that is by default giving us this user ID password as the output. So ABCD is the user ID, password is 1234. When we log in it, so here it gives login successful and got token. That is what is the output from the login URL or login controller. Once this login is successful, then here I can provide a hyperlink, or I am directly accessing the second URL of the controller, hello client. When I am accessing this hello client, since already we have this JWT, that is why we are being able to find out this hello JWT as the output, or else we will be finding please login. So that is how we can go for creating the client of any microservice by using another microservice. This is a Spring Boot application which is being used as a client of producer microservice as a consumer microservice. So that is how we can go for using JWT in both sides. Thanks for watching.